This Pokemon lives in dark places untouched by sunlight. When it appears before humans, it hides itself under a cloth that resembles a Pikachu to look less scary. Unfortunately, the costume only makes it creepier. Although it's a quiet and lonely Pokemon, if you try to look at what's under its disguise, it will become agitated and resist violently. Its actual appearance is unknown, and when a gust of wind revealed what hides underneath, it is said that a passing trainer was overwhelmed by shock and terror, and later died painfully that night. Stay tuned to see how you can build this LEGO Mimikyu MOC yourself. I've wanted to design and build Mimikyu for quite some time, but only recently got around to attempting it back in October, where if you follow me on Instagram, I did a mini series of scary or spooky related Pokemon MOCs for each week of that month, with this being the third entry. I do plan on making videos and releasing the instructions of my LEGO Ghastly and Darkrai MOCs, so stay tuned for those. For this MOC, it isn't too complicated and only has 3 main sub-assemblies, and the size is a bit bigger when compared to some of my other Pokemon MOCs, but you could see this as being a alpha, totem, or larger than average Mimikyu if you wanted. I did try to scale it down as best as I could, but the overall size was dictated by the design of the face and head, which I'll get into more detail later in this video. First, taking a look at the head, I think I spent the most time designing this and the face since I wanted to make sure that I captured all its distinct details so that it would be instantly recognizable. The main challenge for this was getting the mouth to look right in this scale, since it's essentially a zigzag line, which can be challenging to capture in LEGO sometimes. I have seen other building techniques used by others before, where they use these cheese wet slopes that are built with the slopes facing each other, while leaving a gap wide enough to sandwich in between a tile to create different line work and designs. I tried playing around with that technique to see how I could work it in, but I realized that it would have made the head a bit too big, even after I tried to shrink it down as much as I could. So I ended up modifying that technique a bit by just leaving a half plate gap in between instead, to let the shadow in between the slopes give the suggestion of the mouth design. The eyes and cheeks are just built with plates and tiles, and the ears are attached with clip and bar plate pieces, so you can angle each of them up and down to get some different expressions. I chose to build each ear differently and have it be a bit asymmetrical to match its official design a bit better, and I think it helps to make it look a bit more crude since its disguise has a makeshift look to it. There's no other point of articulation for the head, so it is fixed in this position, and I did try to see if I could add some articulation so that there was an option to have it look like the disguise was broken, just how it's shown in game, but I wasn't able to find any techniques that would work here. If any of you guys have any suggestions or ideas, let me know down in the comments below. There isn't that much detail for the rest of the head, as it's covered with tiles and curved slopes just like my other MOCs to get that clean and smooth look all around. The body is pretty simple in its design and is built around a couple of snot bricks for the interior, and its actual eyes are suggested here with these black tiles. I use these wedge and slope pieces on the side to give the body some more volume and have it transition down to the base, where I use different slope pieces at the bottom so that the cloth sticks out a bit more and to give the suggestion that the cloth was torn and ragged. Come around to the back, the tail is just stacked plates and tiles and is attached using a 1x1 stud with a horizontal bar, so you can rotate the entire tail left and right with quite a lot of range of motion, as well as up and down, but you just have to be careful of that connection point. So since this MOC doesn't have that much articulation, I decided to also add a base, which has its 2 long arms attached to it, so you'd have more ways for it to interact with different Pokemon and trainers. This base is optional and is only attached with a single stud, so you can remove it and pose it just fine without the base as well, if you prefer. So adding the base back on, so the arms are attached using these hinge plate pieces, so you can rotate them forward and back. The other joints use clip tiles, so you can also bend them up and down and rotate them side to side. And then the wrists and fingers can only be bent up and down. And I use the larger claw pieces here for the fingers just to make it look more intimidating and like it's ready to attack. Finally, for those of you wondering, this is how it looks scaled up to a random minifigure. And the total part count for this MOC is 210 pieces. At the time of the recording of this video, it can cost around $30 to $35 Canadian. Please keep in mind this does not include shipping or handling, and your final cost may vary. For those of you who stayed this long, I've included a link in the description below to both the parts file and PDF instructions if you're interested in building this yourself. So that's pretty much it. Comment down below what you guys think about this MOC, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.